Greetings, New Zealand. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of your conference. My name is Kendra Tierney. I'm a wife and the mother of 10 kids. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm coming to you from my attic storage room painted chapel. You might know me from my blog, Catholic All Year. Since back before the world went crazy in 2020, and the domestic church has been the only church to which some of us have had access for a while, I have had a passion for liturgical living in the home. I even wrote a book about it. Today, my hope is that this talk will answer two questions for you. What is liturgical living in the home, and why should you do it? So let's jump right in. I love this quote by French novelist Leon Bloy: "The only real sadness, the only real failure, the only great tragedy in life is not to become a saint." And as crazy as it sounds, I think that eating waffles on the Feast of the Annunciation and visiting graveyards on All Souls Day are really good ways to try to achieve that goal for us and our families of becoming saints. So let's back up for a minute here. Before we can understand liturgical living, we need to understand what is the liturgical calendar. So the Catholic liturgical calendar is a calendar telling us when we observe the seasons and months and days of the liturgical year. The liturgical calendar has seasons of Advent, Christmas, Ordinary Time, Lent, Easter, Ordinary Time. It also has different devotions that are associated with different months, and it has holy days, feast days celebrating the saints, and important events in the lives of the Holy Family in the early church. There are days for feasting and days for fasting, seasons for preparation and penance. Today, liturgical living is the way that we approach those days and seasons, particularly in regards to the Mass. We see that the priest wears different vestments for different seasons. We see different decorations, different hymns. Liturgical living in the home is specifically a focus on bringing those observations that we see at the Mass home with us to be part of our daily lives and part of our family. So why liturgical living in the home? For us, there's three main reasons. It's catechism, family culture, and Catholic identity. Liturgical living is a way to learn about the saints and the rhythm of the church year in a way that seems fun and natural. It makes our faith part of everyday life all week, all year. If you're interested in getting started, my recommendation is always to do the things that you already do, but just to tweak them to reflect the feast day or the season. I call it a sneaky catechism because it really doesn't feel like sitting down for religion classes. It just feels like fun family activities. Crafts, coloring pages, books, outings, etc. can all be opportunities to learn about a particular saint or event. Now, because to be honest, we don't do a ton of arts and crafts at my house, most of our liturgical living in the home is based around meals, because that's what we were going to be doing anyway. So ours is a dinner table-based system, which I think is a particularly good one, because at dinner it can involve everyone. Dad and the big kids are home from work and school. The littlest kids are up from naps and not yet down to bed, so family dinners are really a sweet spot for our family. There's three components to our dinner table-based system and of how we like to catechize, and that's food and prayer and conversation. So for food, if I take a peek at the upcoming feast days on my liturgical calendar, when I'm doing my meal planning for the week, I can plan to have a meal that's traditionally associated with a particular saint's country. It can be as easy as spaghetti for one of the many, many Italian saints, or tacos for Mexican martyrs, or something fun like silver dollar pancakes for the feast of St. Matthew, the one-time tax collector, or something really crazy and complicated like turducken for the Feast of the Holy Trinity. Get it? It's like 3 meats in one meat. Or maybe things are busy and we don't have time to have a special meal, but I'll plan for us to have a dessert in honor of the feast day. So food and then prayer. There's so many beautiful prayers and amazing devotions in the Catholic Church. It would be literally impossible to get to all of them every day. But that's the great thing about the liturgical calendar. Even if I don't pray for the Holy Souls every day, I can make a point to do it in November. I might not think about Jesus' holy name every day, but I can make a point of doing so in January. Liturgical living can give us a sampler of all these different types of devotions and ways of praying. The ones that we like best can be incorporated more often. Others maybe we won't try again for a whole year, but then that month or day comes around again. And we do. It's a great way to introduce different devotions to kids and for them to get exposed to them at different ages and be able to appreciate them differently. We include special prayers or blessings or Bible readings or devotions associated with the saint or the month or the season after we say grace before meals. So that's food and prayer. And then the third is conversation. And that's really sort of the heart of it for me. Over dinner, we have a conversation about the life of the saint or the Bible event. If I don't know too much about it, I can just look it up in a book or on my phone, and without too much advanced preparation, the whole family is getting to know more about the saints and church history. We're learning about miracles and suffering and sacrifice. We're hearing about how wildly different the saints are from one another. We're finding some saints that seem a lot like us and some that are so different. It really makes you realize how there's no one way to get to heaven, no one way to be a saint. It really is a great way to learn saints' lives and Bible history and Catholic doctrine, all in little bite-sized chunks spread over the year. I always talk about how it's my kids who are learning, but pretty much everything I know about the Catholic faith I've learned because my kids asked me a question I didn't know the answer to. So I had to say, I don't know, but I'll find out, and then actually do it. All of us here are hopefully raising our kids in a countercultural way. Liturgical living in the home has been really instrumental to our family in helping to create a strong family culture to help protect our kids from whatever the ills of the current age are by a focus on eternal truths and a strong Catholic identity. So that means that our faith isn't a box that we check on hospital admittance forms. It isn't just Christmas and Easter. It isn't just Sunday. It's who we are, our whole life, every day, every week, every year. So Catholic family, Catholic friends, Catholic traditions make walking away from the Catholic faith that much more difficult. Just about everybody who's been raised Catholic has had moments of doubt or darkness, and I'm sure that my kids will face the same. But my hope is that the catechism we've had means that they really understand what Catholics believe, and so many Catholics do not. And the family culture piece will mean that they won't easily succumb to outside pressure to do what everyone else is doing. And the Catholic identity part means that even when it's hard, they will want to stay Catholic because that's going to mean something to them. So Catholicism won't just feel like one choice among many. So have I convinced you? I hope so. I mean, it's such a big topic. I couldn't cover everything in one go. So for more details on exactly how to implement all of it, I recommend checking out my book or blog or my social media accounts. But the super short version is get a liturgical wall calendar and put it where you can see it. A lot of parishes give them away for free. Pick days that you want to celebrate with your friends and family. Put those dates in your phone with a little reminder a couple of days ahead of time and day of. Then just do things you would normally do. Dinner, prayer, conversations, books, field trips, parties, crafts. Anything can be tweaked to go with the day. And don't try to change your entire family routine and your entire personality in one swoop. I like to overdo things. If you follow me on Instagram, you are probably aware of this. But you don't have to overdo it. Baby steps are awesome. Trying things to see how they work with your family. It's always better to start small and simple and add more over time. Cut yourself some slack in challenging seasons of life. One especially convenient thing about the liturgical year is that it comes back around again every year. There are plenty of different ways to approach faith formation. This particular approach to catechism and family culture and Catholic identity isn't necessarily going to be the right approach for every person and every family, but it really has been a beautiful and meaningful part of my family and our life together, and also for our community. We have so many great memories associated with different liturgical feast day traditions, and that's it. So thank you so much for having me, and I hope that you have a great conference and really enjoy it.